Why are you banning social media for under 16s?
How will completely banning social media fix the problem?
First, what I'd like to say is it's not a ban. It's the delay to having accounts. The likelihood of you being exposed to pressures and risks that are much greater when logged into an account. And so by delaying access to holding a social media account until you're 16, we can spend that time building your digital literacy, critical reasoning skills, but also your impulse control skills.
What platforms will be banned?
How are you gonna choose those apps and make sure those apps are the correct apps to choose for the ban?
The list of platforms that are covered is going to change over time.
Please welcome the Prime Minister.
Well, thanks very much, Annika.
The Prime Minister and the Minister of Communications already named some of the major ones. These are YouTube, although YouTube Kids and Google Classroom will not be included. Facebook will be included, Instagram, TikTok, X, and Snapchat. Just to be clear, you'll still be able to access the content on YouTube and other platforms in a logged out account. You just will not be able to have or hold your own account.
How is the age verification going to work when you first download social media platforms?
What technology will they be using to verify age other than face recognition?
How do we know kids aren't going to find ways around this?
For example, I could get one of my older siblings to create an alternate account and give it to me.
Platforms are not required to use specific technologies to verify age. Instead, we are encouraging them to improve on the systems they already have. No solution is likely to be 100% effective 100% of the time. However, we'll expect age-restricted platforms to act on indicators that an account holder may be underage, looking at things like your language and your syntax, your use of acronyms and emojis. 13-year-olds generally speak to other 13-year-olds. They can see if you're logging in before or after school, a lot of details like that.
If you get caught, what would be the punishment?
There are no penalties for under 16s who access age-restricted social media platform or for their parents or carers. This is about putting the onus on platforms, not the people who use them. Age-restricted social media platforms may face penalties if they don't take reasonable steps to prevent under 16s from having accounts on their platforms. And this can be a pretty hefty fine in the order of $49.5 million.
How will they keep all of our private information safe?
Australia has robust privacy protections that platforms must follow. In fact, when all of these age assurance technologies were tested, they were not only tested for robustness and efficacy, they were also tested to be privacy preserving. Generally speaking, these protections place limitations on the use of private information that has been collected by platforms to assess age restrictions, and it requires that they destroy the information following its use.
What if they have close friends only online and that's their only way of communicating?
Why are they banning young creators who dream to become a full-time content creator?
We know that for so many young people, they feel more themselves online than they do in the real world. The social media and the online world has helped you find your tribe. But it's important to remember that there still are online gaming platforms and messaging apps such as WhatsApp or iMessage that aren't affected, so you can still use them. So what I would recommend is that you actually get together and start setting up your group WhatsApp. So when this comes live on December 10th, as we're all getting ready to head up for the summer holidays, you'll still be able to be in touch with your mates. If you're an influencer, perhaps you want to set up a website.
Will social media accounts be deactivated?
Social media platforms will have to remove or deactivate your account on December 10th. We don't expect that will magically happen overnight, but it should happen over a short period of time. But we've also recommended that they offer you the option to deactivate your own account, which means that there may be an option to reactivate your account once you turn 16. That means you can reserve your handle and possibly store your memories and photos.
Why can't TikTok just create a teen TikTok and an adult TikTok?
I think that's a good idea, and we are talking to some of the platforms about that. Now, there's nothing stopping technology companies from offering services like this that are age appropriate. It would have to be completely separate, and we would have to assess it separately. It's not that easy to create another site. It's possible, and of course we're talking about the biggest, richest companies in the world. And it may very well be that they are dedicated to keeping under 16s on their platform in some way, shape, or form.
Will the restrictions and apps be changed over the time?
Will this last forever, or will this just be a temporary one?
They're permanent, I'm afraid, and there will be a legislative review in the next 2 years to see how it's going. But I think the good news is that your age isn't. So believe us when we tell you that 16 will come around pretty quickly. And in the meantime, we'll be standing alongside you, your parents and your teachers, to make sure that you're ready. And also in the meantime, I hope you're having a great time hanging out with your mates, going to the beach, I don't know, kicking the footy, getting 8 hours of sleep, and doing all the healthy, fun things that your parents used to probably talk to you about back in the day.